The Jake Paul fight. What is your reaction when you see that?
I don't really know where to go with this subject because if I say something, I'm going to get backlash.
Gervonta Davis just posted that he would beat the brakes off of you if you guys fight.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be down. Let's run it. Like, I'll be super, super down.
Is Jake Paul someone you'd want to take on at one point?
Yeah. Tell him, this is my call out. Jake Paul, what up?
At last, Floyd Mayweather has broken his silence on the highly anticipated possible bout between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis, and as anticipated, he didn't hold back. In typical Mayweather fashion, the unbeaten boxing legend gave a scathing, well-thought-out response that downplayed the spectacle value Jake Paul offers and confirmed Tank Davis as one of the sport's most dangerous fighters.
Chapter 1's done tonight. Now we're moving into Chapter 2, and I'm just getting warmed up in this sport. But people will hold the Tommy Fury thing against me, but what now? I just beat a former world champion, and I'm coming to avenge that loss as well with Tommy.
Live, only on DAZN, June 28th. Jake Paul versus Chavez Jr. Buy now at DAZN.com/boxing.
Floyd made it apparent with his signature swagger that while Jake Paul has done a good job of converting social media into cash signs, facing a killer like Gervonta in the ring is a whole other animal.
I'm going to get backlash because, you know, and no matter what I say, it's not.
Okay. So you can't
It's
say
not right. But, well, basically, when you watching boxing for free, you can have millions and millions and millions, hundreds of millions of views.
Yeah.
But when you're watching Floyd Mayweather, you have to pay.
It's real.
So, I mean, I do pay-per-view. I did pay-per-view numbers.
In several interviews, Floyd Mayweather has continuously questioned Jake Paul's boxing career and voiced concerns about his capacity to compete against more seasoned professional fighters. Although Paul has been successful against opponents from other combat sports, Mayweather has stated that Paul cannot face a real fighter and that the result will not be favorable for Paul once he does. He also underlined that facing a professional boxer in the ring would be extremely difficult.
Told me before his goal is to fight Canelo, so that's, you know where his mindset's at.
He get fucked up by Canelo. Oh, I'm sorry. It's TMZ.
You can curse. You can curse.
I apologize, but
No apologize about it.
There's no way he get demolished.
Professional boxers weigh in real time. When Jake Paul's name appeared alongside Gervonta Davis, boxing insiders, from top competitors to commentators, reacted to what it meant for the sport's integrity, future, and profitability. The responses varied from contemptuous contempt and moral worry to practical acceptance of the cash and publicity that a crossover battle provides.
If you do fight, what weight would it be at?
195. It would be an exhibition.
Okay, so it was going to be an exhibition, not sanctioned, but no restrictions. You can knock each other out and shit like that. It was going to be at a catch weight of 195 pounds, 10 rounds, 3 minutes. I've been trying to figure this out. Why was I a Tank hater for wanting to see Tank go up 5 pounds to get some smoke with like Teofimo Lopez or something? I just wanted to see him go up 5 pounds and fight Teofimo Lopez. And all of you are saying, you want Tank hurt, Showbiz. You a hater. You want him hurt. Then I'm convinced, okay, he's too small, but he can fight Jake at 195?
The idea of Davis entering the ring with Paul has been denounced by some commentators as absurd and a possible blot on his reputation. A member of Essentially Sports said, Tank Davis moving from 195-195 is just pure insanity, calling the idea a clown move and accusing Paul of begging for a payday from the face of boxing. Tank's credentials was questioned by veteran commentator Paulie Malignaggi, who said that he had snubbed the top lightweight contenders and called his most recent opponents cherry-picked. Meanwhile, lightweight champion Shakur Stevenson went further, saying that it would be disrespectful to the sport if Davis chose a crossover show over a meaningful unification fight with him. These voices imply that insiders and fans see little value and a lot of risk in Tank jeopardizing his reputation for money.
Something else that's unfortunate is the idea that Jake Paul might actually fight Gervonta Tank Davis. This can't be real. When it came up a couple of months ago, I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to cover this because there's no way it's real. There's no way they're really going to do that because it makes no sense. Why would you do that for him? Outside of it, like, okay, you can look at it like an exhibition, which it will be, and we'll take a look at some of the rule set for it. But Gervonta Davis is one of, if not the best, biggest names at 135 pounds, and is an active in his prime fighter. I don't want to hear the similar to Floyd and Logan thing, because at that point, Floyd was retired. Floyd had done all he needed to do in the sport. Tank is still in his prime, still has multiple high-level opponents that he needs to fight. And you can say, oh, that Jake would be a one-off, side quest. That's fine, but that just tells me that Tank doesn't care about being a high-level champion in the sport anymore.
Shakur Stevenson has openly opposed the idea of Gervonta Davis entering the ring with Paul before going up against him, claiming that this would be unjust to both the sport's integrity guy and his own standing in the lightweight hierarchy. In a Fight Hub TV interview, Stevenson said, "Tank is disrespectful to the sport if he chose to fight Jake Paul over fighting with me." Shakur is upset that Davis might forgo a genuine unification fight, a true championship match, in favor of a crossover exhibition against a YouTuber. He has stressed that challenging Cap's assertion that he is the best is insufficient. The only way to prove it is to fight him, not someone outside the sports world.
Tank, what do you think about the rumors of Tank and Jake like?
Man, Tank disrespectful to the sport if he choose that over fighting with me. I'm the best fighter in the sport. I've been telling him that. He called Cap on it. So if he won't call Cap and say, I'm not who I say I am, come prove it.
Javan, it's obvious that Davis's opinion of Jake Paul has changed over time. Tank publicly mocked the notion that Paul was in the boxing world, where skepticism remained even after Paul started training seriously, at first dismissing him as nothing more than a loud attention-seeking spectacle. However, by late 2023, Davis acknowledged that Paul's dedication in the gym distinguished him as more than just an internet clown. More recently, following Davis's contentious draw with Lamont Roach, Davis privately hinted that he could challenge Paul to a fight, displaying a newfound openness rooted in respect for Paul's work ethic and drawing power, even as he remains aware of the significant weight and skill differences between them. Davis had grown to view Paul as decent, praising his mental and physical toughness, while still refraining from calling him a top-tier boxer.
How about Jake? What do you think of Jake?
Clown. He's a clown. I know that Jake can't fight. He can't fight. So
would you look at it as a joke if your team was like, yo, we want you to fight Jake Paul? Would you be like,
yeah, I laugh at him. You want me to fight him? At first, I didn't like how Jake Paul was coming because of how he was making it look. But now that I see that, I feel as though he's still a clown because that's his personality. I'm starting to respect it because he's not doing it like for the hype. He's really like trying to be a boxer. I think that he's decent.
Yeah.
Like he's good. I mean, he's not good, but he's going that way.
Is he better than you thought he'd be?
Yeah. Gotta be mentally tough to be in a box. So that's why I don't take that away from some fighters or some people that want to jump into the sport. So this show how tough you are. That's how it should be.
Particularly after Jake Paul's convincing victory over Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., the boxing community's respect for him has significantly increased. The Anaheim event broke the venue's gate revenue record, surpassing shows featuring elite fighters like Canelo Alvarez and Ryan Garcia, indicating massive commercial traction. Even Manny Pacquiao acknowledged that despite any remaining doubts, Paul's dedication cannot be ignored. The fight also increased Paul's technical credibility, with analysts praising his ability to maintain composure in a hostile environment and control the ring.
Canelo Alvarez fought Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. We promoted that fight many years ago. Didn't knock him out, couldn't hurt him. So imagine if Jake Paul can hurt or even wobble Chavez Jr. It's something that Canelo didn't do or couldn't do. So Jake Paul, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., it's a real fight. Look, people keep talking about Jake Paul, well, he's not a real fighter, this and that. Well, he's fighting a real fighter now in Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. It's going to be a good test for both guys. Obviously, Jake Paul, he's a masterclass promoter in what he does. He's been doing some great things. I mean, Mike Tyson, 60 million people, fighting Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who, when he trains, when he gets in shape, when he's focused, he will be dangerous for anybody. Look,
Canelo Alvarez fought Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., we promoted that fight many years ago. Didn't knock him out, couldn't hurt him. So imagine if Jake Paul can hurt or even wobble Chavez Jr. It's something that Canelo didn't do or couldn't do. So there's a lot of stories to come out from this, a lot of great stories for Jake Paul. So I just feel honored and proud that we can team up with MVP Promotions, with Jake Paul, and we can make Zurdo Ramirez with Torticos the mandatory. That's going to be a bloodbath in itself. So we're excited.
Jake Paul declared in a CNN interview that he intends to fight everyone, especially the biggest, toughest challenges where he is an underdog and can prove himself in the ring. That resolve extends on his public platforms and interviews. Paul also declared that his second chapter in boxing is just getting started, this time focusing on real boxers across the division after defeating Andre August. Paul said he is moving away from crossover or MMA opponents and is now focused on traditional boxing routes, aiming squarely at legitimate pro fighters. Paul aspires to transcend spectacle and establish a lasting legacy in boxing by facing respectable opponents to demonstrate his status as a top-tier athlete.
So everybody's been calling you out, Daniel Dubois, Ryan Garcia, all these people. Who is the most enticing to you?
Oh no, I want to fight them all, to be honest. I just need the time. So I probably will literally fight all of them. So they're all enticing to me.
9-year-old Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., and it's another win for Jake Paul. He was greeted with boos post-fight after winning his 6th straight fight, calling out anyone and everyone requesting multiple title shots and a possible rematch with Tommy Fury. Jake claims he's just getting warmed up. This was just his 13th professional boxing fight. Back here with Brian Campbell, Danny Vitlani. BC, what did you see? What are your takeaways from this latest bout from Jake Paul?
It kind of depends on what we're judging him. If we're judging Jake Paul as a future cruiserweight title challenger, I'd have to say he has a long way to go. But going 10 rounds against a former champion, even if that former champion is a Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who was 39 years old and really 13 years or so removed from credibility in the ring, at least Jake had to go 10 hard rounds, which is an improvement from some of the 8-round fights he's had earlier. And he had to fight off a somewhat stiff challenge late from a Chavez who pretty much took the first 4 rounds off completely of this fight and really took a long time to heat up and finally get going. I don't mean to be a hater here, but you do have to judge with some knowledge compared to the rest of boxing. It's one thing to be the best celebrity fighter in the world. It's another thing to legitimately climb the ladder and fight for a cruiserweight world title.
Logan, throughout his boxing career, Paul has continuously shown his undying support for his younger brother, Jake Paul. He respects Jake's persistent work ethic and his capacity to exceed expectations in the ring, even in the face of Jake's unusual introduction into the sport and the criticism he encountered. Although Jake's journey has been difficult, Logan acknowledges that his accomplishments are a testament to his dedication and tenacity. Logan frequently emphasizes Jake's willingness to take on formidable opponents, stressing that such audacious decisions are uncommon in the boxing world. Logan feels that Jake's dedication and strategic approach have propelled him to an impressive 11-1 record. Logan's viewpoint emphasizes the importance of Jake's achievements and the respect he has gained in the boxing world.
My brother has an 11-1 boxing record. The one came from a guy by the name of Tommy Fury.
Yeah, watch that fight.
Jake, obviously, super hungry kid, wants to avenge that loss, but Tommy won't take the fight.
When I lost to Matt Serra, I was obsessed of revenge. So one of the sports psychologists, he made me take a brick and wrote the name Serra on it. So he made me carry a freaking brick in my training bag until the point I couldn't take it anymore. He made me go to the Saint Laurent River and he made me throw the brick. When I did this, it kind of releases me. But my point is that it's awful and it must stink like fucking crazy. But you need to focus on the next task because that could be a big mistake.
However, prior to the possible fight with Jake Davis, Davis is scheduled to face Lamont Roach Jr. in a much-anticipated rematch in August 2025 at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. This fight follows their contentious majority draw in Brooklyn, New York, on March 1st, where Davis maintained his WBA lightweight title despite a disputed 9th-round incident. The New York State Athletic Commission decided that the bout would stand as a draw, but the controversy has increased demand for a definitive result, and the rematch is anticipated to be a major event in the boxing calendar.
Everybody really think Tank go take the L. I've been seeing it. They said it's over. They think that this time Lamont go in more confident, knowing that basically he can, really take it to Tank. Yeah, I want him to go in there confident. He's very skilled. Go in there confident. Because you gonna go up against a different Tank, like I told y'all in previous videos. He gonna go in there confident, thinking he could walk Tank down. Don't forget, with Tank, if he get you on that button, them lights going off. I don't care who you is. Remember how it ended up with Frank Martin? So yeah, don't go in there thinking that you going against like somebody that, like Ryan Garcia, somebody that let's go fold. You going against Gervonta Tank Davis, and I think that confidence is what's gonna get Lamont dropped. Because one thing I will say, with Tank, that wasn't your best fight against Lamont, bro. I feel like you was in your head too much. You was overconfident, and you was really just, your mind was in y'all story, the lore, and everything with y'all history. You ain't going there like, I'm fighting a stranger. You going there like, oh, this Lamont. This from the same camp. We from the same area. But now I think that whole situation woke him up. Because you got to think, Tank not used to losing. He not used to people being against him. He not used to being the one that, like, got to step back from the situation. That's why I think he being hushed right now. Because when he come this time, it ain't no talking. And that's why I think it's scary, because we never see Tank in that mode where he don't say a word. I think this gonna be a different Tank. And what's crazy is Tank used to be like that in the beginning. Like when he was with Floyd. Like, I'm talking about Tank with the fade, with the waves, bro. He ain't used to be on that showboat and stuff until he got, like, a little bit more in the boxing, thing. Of course, once you with Floyd, you're going to start being flashy and doing backflips off the ring. But in his beginning stages, dude wasn't playing. He was dropping I think that's what he about to go to, bro. And we know that people like, man, did he take Calvin off his team? Nah, like he said, Calvin, his boy. I think he's just rocking with somebody else right now to get him some sharper skills, to change up his skill and what people know him by. I'm not going to lie, y'all. I think Tank go take it to Lamont. And that's not me being biased. I think we ain't never seen Tank like this before. And Lamont, I see your mindset. You keep nagging about that win you should have got. Focus on the new fight. Stop talking about, I should have won. You know why he's feeling like that? Because that's like one in a lifetime. He feel like nobody got that close. I should have took the belt right there. Now I ain't gonna never get that shot again, because he know that boy Tank done buckled up, done cleaned up his mess, and he ready to go. And it's not the same Tank. You mean Tank, you done gave Tank enough time to think about who you are as a boxer and break you down. Yeah, he's cooked. Remember I told y'all what's gonna happen in August. He's cooked. And I feel like Tank, he walking him down. Like, yeah, watch this. I'm about to make an example, because Tank gonna want to be able to tell everybody this.
Despite their huge weight difference, Paul fights at cruiserweight, while Davis fights at lightweight. Jake Paul has said that they would begin talks for a possible exhibition fight if Gervonta Davis wins his forthcoming rematch against Lamont Roach. The scheduled contest would be a 10-round exhibition. It was almost finalized at first, but was postponed because of Davis and Roach's draw. If both boxers win their next fights, the exhibition may happen later this year.